recent college graduates, as well as juniors and seniors in college, ask me, Niki, how do I get into a top 10 law school? Today's video launches my 6-part series in how to put together a winning law school application. Today, I will give you an overview of the key components of putting together that winning law school application. And then over the next few weeks, we'll dive in deeper with much more detail into each one of these key components. And at the end, we'll also have a bonus of all the extra little things that may go into your application. So if you haven't already done so, I hope you join our YouTube family by subscribing and make sure you turn the bell right next to it so you'll get a notification when the new video in this series gets released. I also have some really exciting news with you on how you can get a free coaching session, typically worth $175, so you can get one-on-one customized help on taking everything we learn in this series and put it together with your unique circumstances to get yourself into a top law school. So listen to the end and I will share that information with you. Before we dive in, I want to share with you a little bit of my background. Why should you listen to me in putting together a winning law school application? I graduated college with a biology degree, and I didn't even think about going to law school until after I graduated. Not only am I the only person in my family to go to law school, but as an immigrant, I was alone here and I was already done with college. We didn't really have a pre-law program anyways, so I had to navigate the process on my own. But I was so excited that I did a few good things, including consulting great advisors, and I was admitted to UC Berkeley School of Law, which was my actually #1 choice due to their strength in intellectual property. I then graduated Berkeley and went to work for 2 international law firms, mostly focusing on intellectual property, sanctions compliance, and complex litigation. And then I've spent the last 10 years of my career dedicated to helping pre-law students, law students, and junior attorneys, and making it easier for them to get to the next transition of your career successfully. In addition to creating and teaching a skills course at Berkeley Law for several years, I am also the founder and CEO of PracticePro. We are a legal education company, and for the past 7 years, we've helped over 1,000 law students learn the skills and also the savvy they need for the next transition in their career. So let's get back to you. What are the 5 key components of putting together a winning law school application? Number 1, your GPA. How well you did in college, or if you have an advanced degree, that's included as well. And under that, we will review if you have a great GPA from a prestigious college or a great GPA from an okay college. And also the reverse. What if you're not very happy with your undergraduate GPA? Is there anything you can do to improve that? Maybe you're still in college, so we can tweak things a little bit, and we'll talk about some strategies to maximize your odds of improving your GPA, or maybe you're already done. So we'll have to deal with this through other ways, including GPA addendums. The second component is your LSAT score, the law school admissions test. I know a few schools are moving away from requiring the LSAT as a component of the law school application, but the majority of top law schools still require it. And this is really important in combination with your GPA. For example, if your GPA is on the lower side, we really need a good LSAT score to get into these top law schools. Or if, like me, you have a stellar GPA, I had a 3.96, but it was from a regional college, it was not very prestigious, so you need the LSAT score to kind of prove that you are truly that A+ student. The first time I took the LSAT, I scored, I don't remember my score, but I scored in the 75th percentile. So my worry was, well, are they going to think that her 3.96 is because it comes from a not very prestigious college, maybe that translates into like a B or even lower because of the LSAT score. So I incorporated a few tips and techniques that I will share with you when we get to the LSAT to help you to increase your score. I was able to, within 1 month of studying differently, increase my percentile to the 92nd percentile. So when we come to the LSAT, we'll talk about 1, recommended courses, of course. 2, we will talk about the time frame for studying and how you can approach the different phases of what I believe should be included in your studying for the LSAT. And finally, I hope to bring in someone who's improved her score from the 130s to 170 to share some tips and tricks with you. And for those of you who are going to be working while studying for the LSAT, we'll also go through some scheduling tips on how to calendar your time to do so. The third component of putting together a winning law school application is your timing and your school selection. The timing when you're going to submit your application and when you're going to complete your file is absolutely instrumental, and we'll go over the specifics of it. Also, are you going to put together a diversified selection of schools, geographically and ranking-wise, based on your specific situation? And I will discuss the strategy on putting together this diversified portfolio of law schools you're going to apply to in that episode of the series. The fourth component is your resume, your work experience. And I will cover 2 different parts of it. The first part is your formatting. How do you present yourself? Are you presenting yourself as someone who's going to one day be a stellar lawyer with attention to detail, producing polished work product, or is it a little sloppy? So we will talk about that. We will also talk about the substance of your resume. Maybe you're still in college, and we can go over some ideas on the type of jobs that you might want to apply for and take in between college and law school to, 1, make your application stronger, but also give you a glimpse of what becoming a lawyer is like so you can make an informed decision. For those of you who are applying this fall and you might just have a few months, I will also go over some tips on the type of experiences you can get in the next few months to maybe bolster that application a little bit if needed. And I will try to include job application tips, where to look for these jobs. The 5th component of a winning law school application is my personal favorite, your essay, otherwise known as your personal statement. Some schools just require 1 personal statement that, where you can include your diversity factors. Others require a separate diversity statement. So in that episode of the series, I will go over the biggest mistakes students make in their essay, including just, writing chronologically about what they've done and what they want, kind of like repeating their resume. Your essay should include, at the very least, 2 components. The first component is what I call your lawyering and your intellectual hook. We want to showcase indirectly that, 1, we're a good writer. Writing is the number 1 skill of lawyers. Almost all lawyers, the majority of their work is spent writing briefs, writing memos, looking at contracts and writing clauses. So we want to make sure if our writing is on the weak side, it might affect our chances of getting into the top law schools. Also, in the way you discuss your experiences or certain issues, you can show your intellectual, your analytical, your critical thinking abilities that's going to be super attractive to the top 10 law schools. And the second hook, the second element that I believe your essay should include is the emotional hook. If you're talking about a certain experience, it is great to know about it, but are you going to use the skills of a good storyteller to make the story grab the reader's attention? What we want to do with our essay is to create advocates. The person who's reading your essay, among hundreds of other essays, especially if you are on the lower end of the GPA or LSAT spectrum, after reading this essay, this person needs to become your true hero and supporter. And that might make you survive rounds and rounds of eliminations. And by advocating for you, maybe you can get an opportunity to be, even if you don't have those objective GPA and LSAT scores, maybe your scores are in the 25th percentile of these top 10 schools. Once we get through the key components of your application, we will cover what I've called the bonus materials, some of the miscellaneous parts of your application. These things might not be the big components, but they might still be able to help persuade the readers that you're going to become a stellar lawyer. Finally, you've made it to the end of this video. So as I promised, I'm going to now tell you how you can go about getting that free coaching session so we can work one-on-one and help you put together your winning law school application. All you have to do is hit the like button and then put a comment below. I would love to answer any particular questions you have about law school, or just say hello. I would love to hear from you. At the end of the series, probably in late August, we will look at all the comments on this video as well as the rest of the videos in this series, and we'll pick one, maybe even more winners for our free coaching sessions. I look forward to seeing you guys next week, and until we meet again, stay well.